This week, the major topic is injuries, especially when it comes to pitchers. There's a lot of just pitchers being shut down for the season or having Tommy John surgery. Pitchers like Eric Perez, Shane Bieber, Strider, all within 48 hours, all announced that we're done for the season and having Tommy John season. The list of players being injured goes on. Almar, what is your opinion of all these injuries happening to pitchers?
Yeah, I've heard this through Twitter and around baseball. Everyone's wondering what's going on with the pitchers. Is it the velo? Pitchers are trying to throw 95 to upwards to 96, 97, even 100, or is it the pitch count? Not the pitch count, the pitch clock.
Yeah, the pitch clock. Yeah.
Yeah, so what's affecting the pitchers now? 'Cause welcome to another episode of Saturday Sliders. I'm Almar, and I have Armando right beside me, and let's talk baseball.
But when you beat me to it, I was like, oh shoot, which
You
other
have
team
to
can
you
I?
have to be quick. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Saturday Sliders. I'm Almar, and I have Armando right beside me, and let's talk baseball.
Welcome everybody. You can watch us in YouTube or listen to us on Spotify. Please subscribe, like, and follow. Much appreciated. Let's go around the bases with this week headlines. This week, the major topic is injuries, especially when it comes to pitchers. There's a lot of just pitchers being shut down for the season or having Tommy John surgery. Pitchers like Eric Perez, Shane Bieber, Strider, all within 48 hours, all announced that we're done for the season and having Tommy John season. The list of players being injured goes on, including Shohei Ohtani, Robbie Ray, and Sanders Alcantara, just to name a few. Omar, what is your opinion of all these injuries happening to pitchers?
Yeah, I've heard this through Twitter and around baseball. Everyone's wondering what's going on with the pitchers. Is it the velo? Pitchers are trying to throw 95 to upwards to 96, 97, even 100, or is it the pitch count? Not the pitch count, the pitch clock.
Yeah, the pitch clock. Yeah.
Yeah, so what's affecting the pitchers now? Because this is going crazy now. A lot of pitchers are going down with elbow injuries, and they can't seem to know what's going on. Is it the velocity, the velo? They're throwing harder now. They're trying to throw harder, or is it the pitch clock which messes their system?
Yeah, it's alarming, right? Because we're talking about the last two seasons. We're talking about like 30 starting pitchers, and not
Yeah,
just in all stars, former Cy Young awards, right? Or young prospects, right? They're all being shut down, right? So yeah, it is alarming the amount, but it's hard to say to what to point at one thing, right? So I've been hearing like obviously it's been the topic of the day. I've been hearing as well like different
yeah,
opinions, right? So but the thing is, like, this game has been being played for over 100 years, and each pitcher, some of them are slower, some of them are faster, work faster, right? So it's kind of like, so there's always there's always been some type of clock in each pitcher's mind, right?
yeah. Mhm.
So what is it, right? Like, and I think one of the best arguments I heard this week is it's actually not the pitch clock. It's actually that they can use some type of grease or stick them on the ball, right? Because no, like it's kind of crazy because I'm hearing it's like there's no grip no more, right? So
Yeah,
pitchers are trying to spin it more,
that's
right?
true.
So like they're squeezing the ball harder because they want to create the extra spin of movement, which is actually creating more pressure to their elbow or shoulder.
Yeah, a lot of
Right.
stress to the elbows,
It's
right?
actually a lot of
Yeah,
stress. So there's not the velocity, right? So
yeah.
at least that's what I've heard. Like it's kind of like, oh, that makes sense, right? But it's still very alarming. It's hard to say, right? Because In one instance, I kind of like the pitch clock because sometimes, like,
Yeah,
like especially some games will last 5, 6 hours.
yeah,
And some of the, and I think there was one game this week I saw it was under 2 hours. I was like, holy
yeah,
cow! Like it's like it goes way too quick, right? Which is kind of like okay, it's kind of like it's a bad thing, but it's a good thing. You're not spending your whole evening watching the
yeah,
game, right? So it's kind of like okay, but it's also when you want to watch a game and it's like oh, I have time, and it's like sure, it's already in the sixth inning,
yeah,
right? So it's hard to say, right? So, but there's a lot of different theories, but it's alarming with so many injure um, pitchers.
yeah.
It's not
That's
good for
true.
baseball. It's having so many injuries, right? So,
No,
all right, let's move on. And after a red hot start from the Boston Red Sox, they have actually have cooled down, and that is because of injuries. Trevor Story has is having season-ending shoulder injury, and also Nick Pivetta is sitting in the 15-day injury list. So that's actually, and it's already showing because after having like 7-3 record, that's actually they have lost like two series, back-to-back series. So it's a sad story just because of the I included myself included. Everybody was wondering like what's going on with the Red Sox.
yeah,
They should be spending, they should be signing all the top free agents, and like what's going on. But like after but they actually have had a lot of homegrown talent. They spent a lot of the last 6 years just drafting pitchers, and it was finally getting everything was kind of coming together. And all of a sudden, they hit the injury bug, and but it was a good story to see the first 2 weeks that they were actually starting red hot.
yeah. It's just most of the teams will go through injuries, but to see injuries during the first 2 weeks of the season, it kind of hurts the team to get going, right?
Right. But in good news for the Sox, they actually signed their young shortstop for an 8-year extension. So they're locking in their young talent. So it's good for them.
That's good. Yeah, good signing.
Yeah. And early in the week, news broke out that Stephen Strasburg announced his retirement after 13 years. He was a three-time All-Star and a 2018 World Series MVP. Almar, how will you remember Stephen Strasburg?
It's sad to see him go like retire quick. It was an up and down battle with Strasburg with all of his injuries before. Like I said, we were mentioning about the pitcher's injuries, and he had some issues with his throwing arm too. During his career, what could have been is my question, right? What could have been if Strasburg remained healthy throughout his career, right?
I think I think that's right. That's one of the biggest things. What if, right? What if he
Yeah,
was healthy, right?
yeah,
I
mm-hmm.
I actually kind of choose to remember him and his actual World Series run because he came back. He was in the pitch count all season. I remember, especially throughout the end of the season when they were trying to clinch the playoff berth, and he was actually being shut down, like limited innings,
Yeah,
pitches, and everybody's like, he's pitching, he looks great, he feels healthy, like let him pitch. And it was a big argument within baseball world, and it was like. And like the national is like no, like he's in the pitch count. We told him in the beginning of the season, like everybody's in agreement, he's going to be in the pitch count. And even in the playoffs, he was still in the pitch count.
yeah,
But he had a really great run. Ultimately, I, I choose not to be on the negative side, like because of all his injuries, he was
yeah,
injury prone. Like he had so many surgeries, but like that run in the playoffs, that's what stands out to me when I look at his career, and that's what I'm going to remember him by. He went 5-0 in that run. He had close to like I think it was like 37 innings pitched, 76 strikeouts, something in that range, and it was a great one. It's one of the great runs in playoff history.
yeah. He had like one of the power arms showing mid 90s right there, right?
And that is all for around the bases. Let's go with our new segment from last week, curtain calls, where we highlight our players of the week. And I'm going to start it with my team, my curtain call team of the week. It's the Milwaukee Brewers. They are in first place of the Central. They have won four straight games. They're 10-3 record. They have a relentless offense. They're ranked about top 10 in offense in each category, and I like the way they're playing. I was watching a couple games this week. They're playing with the edge edge to
I
them.
know, Edge,
They
yes.
they have like three um, brawls already in 2 weeks of in the baseball, right? So like they're just like playing so edgy. They talk back to the other team. So, but they're in first place and they're playing a
Yeah.
very good baseball. They have scored 7+ runs in 6 straight games, and they have 20 hits with 22 runs in the last 2 games against the O's. They have a lot of firepower. Players like Williams, Contreras, Frelick, Willie Adames, and rookie Jackson's uh, Claria. And of course, the return of MVP, former MVP Christian Yelich, who is batting 333 with 5 home runs. So that's my team of the week.
Great pick on your Milwaukee Brewers there. I was like going back and forth with watching their games against the Orioles there. It was feisty. They had an edge. I saw that slide from Willie Adames after the benches and the bullpen got together there with like a brawl.
Yeah,
He
there's
slid
just a
and
lot
then
of
he
tension.
did you see that slide?
Yeah,
He slid and then he stood up in front of the catcher. I was like, oh my goodness, this is baseball.
yeah. But you know, it's they're just playing with an edge, and that was my pick of the
Yeah.
Central. I thought a lot of people were concerned because they lost the starting pitchers and some other players. But you know what? Like I just thought like they have a lot of young core, and it's showing. Like Adames, he's just a revelation. I don't know where he came from, but he's just like I like his style of play. He's cocky. But he's backing it up. But ultimately, the biggest success is like Christian Yelich. He's just playing back to his old form. I know the last 4 years he's had a lot of injuries, a lot of off season, like just like yeah, a lot of injuries, and he hasn't been contributing a lot. He's always been in trade rumors, the last couple of years. But he, it's sad because actually he was going to be my curtain call player for position player.
Yeah.
But he's missed a couple games already this week due to back injuries. Hopefully, it's not serious because he's playing hot, and the whole team is playing hot.
From one pick to the other, my curtain call for this week for the team. My season pick is starting to heat up. After a so-so start to their season, the Kansas City Royals are scalding hot. The Royals had a 7-game winning streak, and they're winners of 8 out of 10 games. The Royals had a 7-game winning streak, like I said, behind their starting pitching, Seth Lugo, Cole Ragans, Brady Singer, Michael Waka, and Alec Marsh. Their team ERA is at 2.50. Yes, in the AL Central, they can beat up the White Sox, like we mentioned that, but so can every team, right? This division, like we mentioned on our season picks and during our last week's podcast, it will be tough to know which team will emerge at the end of the season and capture the AL Central title. So that's my pick for this week for my curtain call. The Kansas City Royals.
You know what? What stands out to me for the Royals is their young shortstop. He's actually he's very gifted offensively. Like
Bobby Witt.
yeah, he's really good. I watched a couple highlights from him, like from the last 2 weeks, and he has all the tools to become an all-star shortstop. for
Yeah.
being a young
He
player.
looks like
So
he looks like a 5'2" player, right?
yeah, for sure. Yeah. So perfect. And for my pitcher, curtain call pitcher, I'm going with the reliever. Actually, I'm going with Mason Miller, closer from the Athletics. And in 5 games this season, he has 7 innings pitched. He has 3 walks, plus with 12 Ks in 7 innings. His fastball hits 103, and he follows up with a 90 miles per hour slider. This week alone, he had 2 saves this week, but he's actually in one of those relief pitchers. He has 2 innings pitched with 4 strikeouts in the ninth and in the 10th against the Sox. And then when they were playing the Rangers this week, in a one-hit game from the Athletics pitching staff, he came and saved the game. Like, and
Yeah.
it was just it's impressive. I think he's like 20 years old. It's impressive for a young reliever.
That's actually a nice stats for a reliever coming in like the young season 2 weeks, right? And you
And
said
he's coming 103, yeah.
103 miles. Holy, and then you have the 90 miles per hour slider. That's devastating for hitters.
And he can throw the slider from from righties and lefties. And so
Yeah.
it's a very good pitch, and um and it breaks well with the lefties. So, but you know what's impressive is that he's young. It's a young season, but he's coming under pressure. That's what I like. Right,
Yeah.
one hit game against the Rangers this week. He's coming in and just closing the game. And right, and then like against the Sox, it was a tie game, 4-4, and the ninth and the 10th. So like, but he pitched 2 innings, and he's just very calm and collective
Yeah, that's good. You need that reliable back of the pen in this day and age of baseball, right?
for sure.
Good pick on Mason Miller there, Armando. And for my pitching curtain call, Armando, you mentioned this on our last week episode when we were picking our top performers of the week. It is hard not to pick a Dodger this season. However, my Cy Young pick for this season, Tyler Glasnow, is having a brilliant start to his Dodgers season. Glasnow is currently leading the majors in wins with 3 wins and innings pitched with 24. His last start against the Minnesota Twins, he went 7 innings with 3 hits, no runs, with 14, yes, 14 strikeouts. Glasnow currently have 29 strikeouts for the year with a whip of .75. When I was picking him to be this year's NL Cy Young winner, I know he would rack up all the wins with the Dodgers offense behind him. But he is holding his own on the mound, and if he continues to pitch this way, it will be tough for any team to beat this Dodgers team.
Yeah, it's hard not to go, right? Because they have just an all-star team, right? Roster for the Dodgers, but like 29 Ks and 3 starts. That's
Yeah,
impressive, right? So he's definitely, like you said, he's handling his own. You know, he's not part of an all-star. He is an all-star in an all-star
yeah,
team, right? So
yeah.
perfect, great pick. I don't blame you. I actually was last week. I was actually debating going with them because he had back-to-back good starts.
Yep.
But I was kind of like, oh, I know that Omar already went with Betts as a position player, and I was like, oh, I don't want this to be the Dodger showcase
Then
here.
yeah, it's not a Dodger Blue podcast.
Exactly. But no, but good pick. Like there's nothing. They're playing good. That's all.
Yeah.
So great pick. So with my position player of the week, I'm going with actually Juan Soto, your pick for MVP. Uh, he's just playing really good baseball. He's loving the spotlight in New York. He's liking the attention. He's engaged with the crowd. Um, he's he's actually backing it up with good offensively numbers. Soto is at 57 at bats. He's batting 333 with 3 home runs, um, 19 hits, 9 runs, and get this, 15 RBIs. But the most impressive thing, it's 14 walks. To to quote Moneyball, the movie, he gets on base. He gets on base. Like
Yeah.
he's that's impressive, right? To have that discipline, 14 walks. So he's not out there just swinging wild, swinging for the fences. Actually, his discipline at the plate is showing off, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
And
It's a yeah.
and and I have to say this because last year, because playing with the Padres, I saw him a lot. I don't know what was going on in the locker room, but um, the big three in San Diego, Machado, Tatis, and so whatever reason they were not gelling together. He didn't look happy there. It's like I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on, but it's good to see him happy again. Maybe he just needed to be in the East Coast.
Yeah. Yeah, because he was from Washington before, right? Yeah, good pick there with Soto. I hate the Yankees though. But like you said, they're winning with Soto and Judge in the middle of it. So
Correct,
that's
right?
great. Yeah, great to see.
And he's also stealing bases as well. Like he's not
Yeah.
just like just an offensive a threat. He's actually very he's a good defender. He's good at running the bases. All around good player.
Yeah. Great pick. Great pick. So for my curtain call for position player, is he back? I think he is back. The three-time AL MVP Mike Trout is announcing to everyone that he is still a force in the field. In the last 7 days, according to ESPN, Trout has 8 hits, one double, one triple, 3 home runs, and five RBIs with only 2 strikeouts. In the season, Trout is batting 318 with an OPS of 1.195. We all know that Trout is capable to be a 5 tool player. I hope he stays healthy as injuries has been his only nemesis in his great career so far. But in the past 7 days, he's been hot. So that's why I'm going with Mike Trout for my curtain call of position player this week.
Yeah, he actually stood out when I was watching games throughout the week this week. He has a he's always had a good swing, but like you can tell the swing, his back is healthy again. Right,
Yeah,
the way he was making contact and those home runs, like you mentioned, I was like, oh yeah, like he looks back, he looks healthy,
yeah.
So great pick. Actually, you kind of stole it from me because I was gonna go with them. Uh, but that's what you get when you turn in your players first.
Like I said last week, you have to be quick.
Yeah, you have to have to be quick, right? Uh, but you know what? Like, it's so obviously everybody wants to see Mike Trout in the playoffs. They want to see him in October,
Yeah,
right? But like the way he's playing so far, like how can you not trade him? How can he
yeah,
not? Right? So I know he's loyal. Like I know he's not. He said like no, I'm not asking for a trade. Like at least in cameras he's saying that. But like how can you not trade him, especially if he's playing this good,
yeah.
right? So. But anyways, that's what crossed my mind. But he's having a good season, start to the season. Angel fans are going to the game. The Angel team in general are playing good.
Yeah.
Right? They have a like I think they're 7 sets or something around there. So they're actually surprisingly their record shows they're better than everybody expected to be.
Yeah.
So no, good pick, good for the Angels. So hopefully the fans continue to support them, and hopefully Mike Trout stays healthy throughout the season.
Yeah. Yeah, we wish him to stay healthy too. It's good for base. It's good for the Angels and baseball.
Well, that's it for the curtain call players of the week. And let's go with our Giants and Blue Jays updates. I'll start it out with the Giants. I'm going to start on a happy note because it was not a good week for the Giants. There's a lot of frustrations. Um, but I'm going to start with a good note because this player keeps getting better and better, and he's a revelation. At this point, and 3 starts, Jordan Hicks looks like a steal in free agency. It looks like a bargain. 4 years for $30 million. It looks like, wow, we got a starting pitcher at a discount, and no one wanted him. So, and 3 starts this season, Jordan Hicks is 2-0, 1 1.0 ERA, and 18 innings pitched with 13 Ks. This week against the Nationals, he he didn't have the strikeouts, but he's proven that he can be a starting pitcher in this league because he didn't have the strikeout command, but he was using the defense, the ground balls to get the outs. It just proves you because a reliever mindset, you go in the game either in a situation baseball or you're trying to close the game, or you need to come in as a reliever to strike out a player, right? So he's actually not throwing. Yes, he can throw high 90s, 1 or 2. I think a couple of years ago he was the he threw was the he threw the hardest in the majors, but he proved on this week's start that he doesn't have to throw the heater to have success in the majors. He can use his off pitches. He can use his defense behind him, and he all he needs to do is just go deep in the game to give the bullpen some rest.
Yeah, Jordan Hicks is really a revelation this season. And like you mentioned, it's not that Jordan Hicks, no team wants Jordan Hicks, but I believe Jordan Hicks wanted to be a starter, and no team wanted to give him a chance to be a starter. And you said he can throw 100 miles per hour when he wishes to, but if he can sustain this without throwing upwards to mid 90s, that's great to hear.
And that's what he's doing. He's throwing mid 90s, and he's throwing a lot of his off pitches, and so it's really great. Yeah, Giants feel like he was just used wrong. No offense to the other organization, but he just feels he was used wrong, and he's having a fresh start with the Giants, and the Giants need to start pitching. So it's a good match, and it's
Yeah.
impressive what he's doing. So that was a good start that I wanted to talk about to start off in a happy note. But the sad note is there's a lot of struggles going on with the Giants. Um, the Giants went 3-3 and their recent homestand. The middle of the lineup, the bottom of the lineup, they're not hitting. There's a lot of woes going on right now. Uh, Everybody's pointing at that. They just keep leaving runners on base. Uh, in this homestand, they went 2 for 33 with runners on scoring positions, and especially on Tuesday night, 1 out, bases loaded. Soler, a top power hitter, free agent, 1 out, and he couldn't bring the runner home. And that would have it was the bottom of the ninth. It could have tied the game, but he cannot just no. They could not get the timely hit, and that's what has been one of the big woes. Even on the to open the season, they just couldn't get that timely hit, and it's showing now, and there's a lot of frustration. And also in the first game against Tampa Bay on Friday, they left 10 base runners on base. They just cannot, and everybody's looking at Chapman, Soler, Estrada, Nick Ahmed, just the middle and the bottom of the lineup. They're just not contributing right now. But I do have to say, Estrada and Nick, they were called out um, by the skipper, and they responded well. So on Wednesday, Nick Ahmed, he had a triple. He had a couple hits, timely hits. So and Estrada as well. So there's some positives. So like not to get be hard on them, but like they have accepted the challenge. And
Well,
another,
if it, yeah, when you're
go ahead.
not scoring a lot of runs, it put additional stress to the starting pitchers, right?
Yeah, exactly. It puts a lot of stress for the whole pitching staff, right? So, and also the big one of the big question marks that's happening is what has happened to Bailey, Patrick Bailey. He was our star rookie catcher um, last year. No one was running at him because he was throwing out everybody. I think he had like a 90%, 90 plus percent of throwing out runners trying to steal on him. And so far, he's actually the worst catch, catcher throwing out runners. His teams are just running on him. The Nationals just run wild on him. I think on Monday night they had four stolen bases against him, and he's not able to throw out. He did on Wednesday afternoon game. He was able to throw one game, and today he was able to throw one run running out. But he still, um, but Tampa Bay was still able to run on him. So for some reason, the scouting report is run on Patrick Bailey right now, and everybody's wondering what's going on. Like we said goodbye to Joey Bart. We everybody was saying like Patrick Bailey is the future, and so far he has struggled badly defensively. In this first 2 weeks of baseball, um, he came heavier um, this season, and that's because he was saying last year he didn't have the endurance, but he put a lot of muscle, like 20 pounds of muscle. The people are saying like maybe that really affected him, but he's not playing good. So there's a lot of question marks right there. And one,
Is it only behind the plate, throwing the runners, or on the plate while batting? Is he struggling too?
no, he's having a okay productive. Like I
Mm-hmm.
think he's batting just around the 300 mark. Well, he has one homer, couple of RBIs, right? So he's getting on base, but I think right now it's just he's so defensive. Like he's this week alone he has like three catcher interference, just reaching for
Mm,
the ball too early.
yeah.
It happened today as well against the Rays, and there's just a lot of mistakes from a catcher. So he's one of there was a lot of players being called up by fans, the media, um, the organizations, and Bailey's one of them. And one of the biggest call outs that or people are calling him out is actually Mike Straczynski. He's having a hard time at right field. He is batting 138 on the season. He has started all games except for one in the season. And what do you do? So, but he's been with the Giants for the last 6 years. He's been all with the Giants. He's fans were calling him like he needs to be DFA. People were calling him out. Like, it's kind of like he needs to go. He can't be here in the majors now. He needs to get traded or be sitting down. But it's like, whoa, that's really hard to say because he's a fan favorite over the years. But he just can. He struggled with injuries. He has shown flashes. Um, Being a great player, being an all-star, but he hasn't been able to stay healthy or put it all together. And I think just there's just a lot of frustration with Mike, with Jazz, just defensively and offensively, and it's showing 0.138 on the season. Yeah, what do you do, right? And it's a
Yeah.
hard. It kind of reminds me like Joe Panic when the Giants had to make that decision. Like it's like, whoa, Joe Panic. He was clutch in the postseason. He's one of the reasons we won a World Series with his glove. But it came to the point. It's like, whoa, he's not producing no more. We thank you for everything you have done, but we
It's time to
actually
move on.
it's
It's
time to
time to
move on,
move on. Yeah.
and it's and it's growing. With Jazz, it's like the boiling waters. It's starting to heat up. And what do you do, right? So especially when the media and fans are calling for him to be DFA, it's like it's a touchy subject right now, right? So, but Edward is being called out from the middle of the lineup to the bottom. So especially when we talked about Matos and Lisiano, like being not making the roster, but like they're having up with all these woes the Giants are having offensively is like how long do you keep those young players who are having a good season in the AAA, but how long do you keep them down, especially if you want to start winning, right? And what it says, which is true, you can't win a division in April, but you can definitely lose one in April, and that's what's happening right now. And that's for your Giants update.
A lot of mixed bags with your Giants this week, hey? And it's starting to pile up. And front
Well,
and
like
center are your hitting.
yeah, and last week I talked about like the fan base was even the media was kind of like divided. Like oh, someone's like oh like it's panic mode, and other was like oh it's early. There's no time to panic right now. But and within 1 week, everyone is panicking. It was a rough week watching baseball this week for the Giants. They did win this week. I mean tonight, they broke out 5 home runs. They scored 11 runs. Like one of them is Soler had a home run, which is kind of like because this is my first. He played for the Marlins, and I didn't watch too many Marlin games, right? So he had like plus 30 home runs, but like watching him so far is like when he's hitting home runs, you're gonna love him, and when he's not, it's gonna be very. There's gonna be a lot of growing pains for Giants fans because he's either home run or not or nothing, right? So
It's
which
all
is
or
very
nothing.
hard, right? It's all or nothing because I like the power hitter, but I also like the power hitters to hit for doubles, right?
You want them to produce with runners in scoring position, right? You
Correct,
want
right?
them to hit that single or a double, cash in two, right?
Right, but like his first at bat today against the Rays, 4 pitches, all fastballs, and he struck those swinging, and he swung at 3 fastballs, middle up. They were just challenging him, and he was not catching up. And it's not like it was like high 90s; it was mid 90s. It was 95 fastball. He was not able to catch, so he was not looking at the. He's not seeing the ball good right now. But his second at bat, he had a ball, warning track, but it was a good at bat. I was like, it made good. I was like, okay, like, and his third at bat, I was like, he's due. Like the way he swung at his last at bat, but he did hit a homer, uh, dead center field. It was a beauty, right? So he has answered the call. Estrada had 2 home runs this today. Um, Nick Ahmed had the last 3 games. He's had a couple hits here and there. So there's definitely some, and Chapman hit a home run. So there's some players definitely answering the call, right? So, or the challenge,
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully you get things going, right?
definitely, yeah.
Yeah. All right, and for your Blue Jays update, the Toronto Blue Jays finally had their home opener this season after a grueling 10-game road trip in Tampa, Houston, and New York. The newly renovated Rogers Center looks brand spanking new. There were a lot of buzz with this renovation, and I myself cannot complain. There are some others who did not like some of the changes, but hey, cannot please everyone, right? And Jays were able to win the first 2 games against the Mariners to climb to climb up to even 500, but lost the third game in the extras as the depleted pen imploded as the Mariners were able to score 5 runs in the top of the 10th. It seemed that the Jays hitters were starting to come around in the first 2 games against the Mariners, but that was a mirage, I guess, as they can only get 1 run in the third game, and that was the Vladdy bomb in the bottom 7th to tie the game at 1 apiece. So in other news, pitcher Alec Manoa pitched this week against Single A, and it was a nightmare start.
Oh no.
Manoa only lasted 1 and 2/3, walking the first three batters he faced, surrendering 5 hits, 6 earned runs, a total of 4 walks, with only 2 strikeouts. I am not sure how the Jays will handle the massive decline of Manoa from here, but I'm hoping he can recapture that pitching from 2 years, two seasons ago.
So he was just
Eh,
pitching wild, or just didn't have the sense of the strike zone?
it's a little bit of both. It happened last season too. When we were watching, and a lot of baseball critics were talking about this, that it might have been the pitch clock that was messing his
Okay,
system. But
right,
with single A and walking the first three batters you faced, what happened there? I'm not too sure. We have to dig in further with that one.
right.
So, but for a much positive news, catcher Danny Jensen, who was recovering from a wrist injury. Jano played on Wednesday in Buffalo. Jano crushed a grand slam for the Bisons in the fourth inning. So stay healthy, Jano. The Jays sorely need your bat in the bigs. And that is it for now for your Blue Jays update this week.
I do have to talk about this stadium, though, renovations. I
Yeah.
saw some reports saying like it's the best stadium in the majors, and I'm like, hold
Where
up
did you
there.
see that? Where did you see that? Because I saw the
I
power
saw it on
rankings and
Instagram. I saw
I
it
saw
on
the
the
power
Instagram.
rankings.
Yeah, like I saw it, like it's like, oh, Jay's new stadium or renovated stadium puts them at the top of the majors, top of the league in stadiums to watch, and I'm like, or to go visit. I'm like, wait, I mean, like number one, and Oracle Park is number two. It's like I don't know about that.
I don't know what Instagram you were looking at because I saw the MLB power rankings and Oracle Park was number one, and
I saw that too. Yeah.
The Rogers Center wasn't even in the top 10.
So no, I saw. I don't know. So I think it was actually Sportsnet. I think
Oh, did they?
I think it was a Canadian website.
Oh yeah,
Canadian.
I know.
I was like, I'm biased because I've never been to the new or the old or Boston or Chicago when Chicago's
The
Wrigley
Wrigley
Field,
Field.
but I do think that the Giant Stadium in San Francisco with the ocean in the background and downtown, it's like I do think it's one of the best stadiums, not just in baseball, like around the world. So it's just
Yeah. Hmm.
it's beautiful, especially when it's sunny, warm. It's like you're eating some you're having a hot dog and a beer and the garlic fries. It's like it's perfect weather,
Yeah.
perfect place to go watch a game.
The atmosphere is good, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I always
Yeah.
tell people when they go visit like San Francisco, like, hey, if it's baseball stadium, baseball season, just go to the game, just walk around the stadium. It's a great atmosphere. Um, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's too bad for the. That was a long road trip. 10 games for the Blue Jays to start the season.
Yeah.
That's tough, right? Like
Yeah.
6 games, 7 games, it's long, but like 10 games, I was like, wow.
And they face good teams too right off the bat, right? So
But like, yeah, hopefully, I did watch some. I did catch some of the games when they won, and definitely saw Bo hit that home run. I think he
yeah.
was relieved as well as hitting that home run, right? So definitely there's some pressure, to get rolling, right?
Yeah.
Right
And
from
like when you were talking about your the Giants batting, the Giants hitters, I can feel the sentiment there with the Blue Jays hitters not doing the same thing. Like
right.
the middle
So
of the top of the lineup is not doing their job right now.
definitely, so but yeah, it's still early, but like it's early season, right? There's still a lot of baseball games, but this is when it starts. We're mid in April now. You can you don't want to fall too behind,
That's true. Yes,
right?
I was gonna say that.
You don't want to fall too behind because you start losing the division or losing grip on the division or even those wild cards spots, right?
Yeah.
So definitely, hopefully, teams closer to well end of April, beginning of May, you start seeing okay who's actually a contender. You start seeing those flashes, right? Like who's for real, who's not, who was just a fluke, you know. Well, thank you for watching another episode of Saturday Sliders. See you guys next week.
See you.